Hello, welcome back to the channel of nonsense. I'm in a Polestar 1, but that's not important right now. What's important is I'm driving Silverstone to drive the new Bentley Conti GT Speed. This is the sportiest version of the Conti GT. The Speed badge is kind of, well, it's like Bentley's Go Faster, but it's still not uncouth badge. So yeah, this will be a 650 horsepower version of Continental GT with a chassis that is set up for maximum fun. It's got all-wheel steering, it's got a electronic limited slip diff on the back axle, and it's hopefully going to be really agile and fun to drive, with the caveat that it's still a big 2.2 or something ton car. So yeah, this should be quite interesting. I've never driven Silverstone other than many laps on Forza in my gaming career. So yeah, it'll be quite interesting. We're using the GP circuit, so the full big boy. I'm quite excited, frankly. It's a lovely day for it, so I'm going to stop waffling, admire my yellow seatbelt, and I'll see you at Silverstone, where I presume it's snowing, because Silverstone is usually a horrible place in terms of weather. Anyway, I'm British, I'm talking about the weather, I need to stop. Goodbye. Right, I've arrived at Silverstone and I've got to wait for 20 minutes while my COVID test cooks in their oven. Some quite interesting cars here, I'll show you them while I'm waiting. There's a wild Shmee over there, there's some influencery type BMWs and AMGs, and a Panamera, which looks like might be Jason Plato's given the number plate, and lots of pretty Bentleys, Flying Spur, Conti GT, Conti GT, GTC, Bentayga. So yeah, and not unusually, Silverstone is bloody freezing, despite the fact the rest of the country is quite warm. Silverstone has its own microclimate, and it's always rubbish and cold. But anyway, in 15 minutes I'll know if I'm dying, and after that I'll be allowed to go and drive the new GT Speed. Yay! Right, I'm about to get on track, but before I do, I thought I'd show you this. This is the back axle of the new Conti GT Speed, and really, obviously Speed's in the name, but it's the chassis that's the big star of the show. So for the first time, you've got rear steering on the Conti GT, so there's basically a rack here, and this turns the back wheels ever so slightly for more agility. They've not really done it for stability or turning circle reasons. It's to help it turn in and be a bit more agile. Next thing, got the 48 volt anti-roll bar. This has got 1400 Newton meters of torque, so that's 500 Newton meters more than the engine. Obviously that's in the front axle as well. And you've got the electronic limited slip diff in there. So it's those three things really, which apparently I'm going to feel out on track in a minute. So they've thrown the kitchen sink at this in terms of chassis stuff. Obviously it's still a big heavy car, it's 2.2-ish tons. These are the optional carbon ceramics. This is the rear axle, and they're still something like 400 mil. On the back they're 440 up front, and yeah, that's a lot of greasy metal. Anyway, right, enough of that. Let's go and get in one of these and go very slowly around the track. So I'm on Silverstone GP circuit now in the Conti GT Speed. I've done a sighting lap, and do you know what? It's classic Bentley just turned up a notch, as in it's a heavy car that is doing simply incredible things. That 48 volt anti-roll bar system keeps it so flat in the corners. Those carbon ceramic brakes, the biggest fitted to any modern car, they are phenomenal, and you need them to be, because that 650 horsepower engine is surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, very fast. But really it's the agility and the chassis modifications in this car which are the stunning thing. The turn-in is just spot on. I mean, you still roll a bit, but you miss the apex with understeer because I'm an oaf, but it's very entertaining to drive. And also that reprogrammed ESC with that limited slip diff at the back axle, you can feel it pushing you out of corners. I think we're going to start easing the systems off and see what happens. So I'll report back. But first impressions are, what a mighty thing. Not an actual track car, but very good all the same. So I've got the ESC in dynamic mode now, and that again, like the Bacalar I drove a few weeks ago, really does slacken things off a bit. You get more of a push out corners from the back. and you come to that little four-wheel drift out of corners, which you just shouldn't be able to do in such a big heavy car, really. And it's making it feel really quite easy through these flowing corners. It's just gripping, it's not rolling, it's not an uncomfortable car to do this in. Remarkable, really. Be interesting to see what it's like on the road, because apparently it's still just as comfortable in comfort and Bentley modes as the regular Conti GT, just a bit sharper and more dynamic feeling because of all those chassis technology things. You can just tell what it's doing so easily.
Yes, yes. I think it's really confidence inspiring, and I mean, considering that this is only your 5th lap now,
yeah,
you already developed that level of confidence and this level of.
Yeah, it's probably misplaced.
Looks like that you already feel comfortable with the car.
Yeah, it's probably a misplaced level of confidence, but
oh, it looks good.
Right, hopefully that wasn't a completely garbled mess of a hot, sweaty man in a helmet. Basically, the Conti GT Speed is really, really impressive. It does that typical Bentley thing of being really impressively agile, nimble, and fun for a heavy four-wheel drive car. Gonna get deafened by one, hang on. I say deafened, they're quite quiet even with the optional Crabfitch exhaust that they've got on. But yeah, hopefully that made some sense. There's no price yet because it's not been certified for the UK or something like that, but I imagine it will be around £200,000. So if you want a big expensive GT that's still very comfortable but can also put a massive smile on your face and do little skids, then go and get one. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching, and thank you to Florian Sprenger, Bentley's head of chassis, who was sitting next to me during the in-car stuff. He was very helpful and very interesting man to talk to. So yeah, hit like, comment, subscribe, see you next time, all that jazz. Thank you for watching this nonsense, and goodbye. I'm going to go home and have a cake.